I'm Kathy Rentz, a professor at the University of Cincinnati and co-author of Business Communication, a Problem-Solving Approach. As my co-author, Paula Lentz, and I discuss in other videos, we believe that the most realistic, helpful way for students to think about business communication is to approach it as problem-solving. One reason is that business is all about solving problems, and communication is part of every solution. But the communication task itself requires analysis and decision-making. The more students approach business communication with a problem-solving mindset, the more successful they will be. In this video, I want to show you an example of how fun and effective it can be to apply the problem-solving approach. I do an activity like this on the first or second day of each new semester to help my students understand how I want them to think about BCom. First, I show them a sample communication scenario, like this one. This is a good example of the 130 or so problem-solving cases we provide. The cases vary in complexity, but all of them situate students in realistic contemporary scenarios. In this case, the student is being asked to play the role of a salesperson for a vacation rental firm who needs to inform a customer that the beach of the properties she's reserved and paid for have recently been washed away by storms. As you can read here, the customer, with whom the writer has had several email exchanges, chose these properties as the location where her family, from many places in the U.S., will hold their reunion. The family's paying $10,600 for the rental, and they've paid in advance in full as the company required. They'll be arriving in 3 weeks, and the boss wants the writer to make sure that they're not unpleasantly surprised. Then I share one handling of this communication problem. Good afternoon, Jane. I wanted to touch base with you because I visited the properties you are renting and noted that the private beaches for the properties are not as sandy as they are in the public beach area. As this is an act of nature and has only affected the private beaches, there will be no reimbursements, relocations, or other compensation applied, as this is clearly outside of lakeside vacations and the homeowner's control. Parking passes for the public beach will be provided in the homes. I have attached a photo of the beach to give you a visual of what I observed. As always, thank you for vacationing with Lakeside Vacations. After we read the message, I ask the students what they think of it. Overall, they don't like it, mostly because of the negatively, defensively worded legal policy, which takes up the biggest part of the message. They find this language especially offensive since the writer has already had pleasant contact with the renter, and the renter has shown that she's a cooperative person, but they also take issue with other decisions this writer made. They like that the writer included the photo, but they think it's not totally honest to say that the beaches are not as sandy as the public beach, when in fact, there's really no beach left at the properties. They don't think the company's being appreciative enough of how much money the family's spending, or of the fact that the family paid fully up front as they were asked to do. The family held up their obligation, but the company seems unwilling to hold up theirs. There's nothing in the letter to help the reader still feel good about coming or believe that the public beach will be a good substitute for their private beach. The tone of the message is too cheerful after the negative wording of the preceding paragraph. And it's a cliche. It sounds like the ending of a form letter. And usually someone catches that the word effected should be affected. After this discussion, I show the class a different handling of the case. Good afternoon, Jane. I'm writing to let you know that severe spring storms have eroded the beaches of the lakefront rental properties in the St. Joseph area. The attached photo shows the current condition of the beaches. The winds and currents can have this effect, and while they sometimes restore the sand, we can't guarantee that this will happen by the time of your family's visit. Fortunately, St. Joseph has an extensive public beach that is only about a mile from your rental properties. Click here to see the beach photos. You will find complimentary parking passes for your family inside the homes. The beach has a jungle gym, a concession stand, and umbrellas and chairs for rent. The boat and jet ski rental office is also there. Of course, your magnificent view of the lake, your swimming pool, and the opportunity for walks along the shore have not been affected. You may also enjoy exploring the downtown area, taking one of the winery tours, or going on other excursions in this popular vacation spot. Please let us know if we can assist you further with your planning. We look forward to your visit. I asked the students what they think of this message, and so far every student has much preferred it to the original one. When pointing out why, they mention the skillful handling of the bad news about the beaches, the effort to inform the reader about the public beach and make her feel good about it, the additional effort to play up the opportunities for fun in the area, the absence of legalistic language, and the pleasant offer of help at the end. I then tell them that the scenario is real, that I was the recipient in this situation, and that the first message I showed them was the one I actually received. I tell them that I found the message quite offensive as they did, and that to write a better message, I used the advice and strategies offered in their text. We then turn to the planning checklist in Chapter 1, Communicating in the Workplace, to see how more careful planning could have led to a better message in the first place. Perhaps the main error the writer made was to define the problem too narrowly and too negatively. She thought of her goal as primarily to convey bad news and assert that the company was not going to be held responsible. If she'd thought of her main goal as keeping the customer happy in spite of the bad news, she'd have written a much better message. Then, when she generated her options, she didn't think enough about her recipient or their relationship. She also didn't consider enough that the reader knew nothing about the public beach, not how close it was or how good it was, and she didn't make it easy for her to find out. She also didn't think about the possibility of her reader posting negative information about the company on the internet, which is all too easy to do these days. Clearly, the writer also didn't do enough evaluating of the communication options here, what to include, how to organize it, what to emphasize, what overall tone to use. When the writer built the solution, the poor decisions she'd made undermined the message's effectiveness, even though she was trying to be helpful. The delivery of the message was timely and successful, but unfortunately, the message itself was seriously flawed. This is the point when I tell the class that my family turned out to have a great time at the properties. Here we are on our deck overlooking Lake Michigan. But a few months after our stay, I learned that the rental company had gone out of business. Was it because of ineffective, offensive communication? We don't know. But certainly, that kind of communication can damage a company's business and its reputation. As we go through the rest of the term, we return to the planning checklist each time we tackle a major assignment. We talk about each case and the relevant chapter long enough for us to have a shared understanding of strategies that have good chances to succeed and strategies to avoid. It's up to each student then to build the solution that he or she thinks best suits the facts of the case and will get the best result. This room for judgment can be scary to students, but it's room they must have if they're to develop into skillful communication problem solvers. You can set your students up for success by being sure to choose cases that you think they're prepared to handle, helping them think of factors of any given case that they might overlook or underestimate the importance of, and being upfront about any particular strategy that you would consider ineffective. Going over drafts in class is also really helpful. It gives students a chance to try out their chosen strategies and wording, and helps the class come to a basic consensus on what will and won't be effective. BCom is definitely challenging, but it's rewarding and fun. We wish you the best as you encourage your students to be strong thinkers and communicators. To learn more, visit our website via the link shown on your screen.